What's the word, family? This is the Win Column. I am Kev. Look, what I'm going to do for you guys, we're going to break down some of the film of Patrick Queen, LSU linebacker, expected first round pick in the 2020 NFL draft coming up in April with fingers crossed. We don't know where the Rona is about to go. So with that being said, man, what I want to do is go ahead and show you guys some things that I do not like about the film of Patrick Queen. None of this is about bashing the player, but for a guy that has first round grades, I see some things that I don't like. I see some red flags. So who is Patrick Queen? I have the answer by the numbers. We're looking at a 6 foot 229-pound linebacker, okay, ran a 4.5 40 at the combine, did 18 reps on the bench, okay, with a 35-inch vertical. Great athlete, okay. In his final year at LSU, he had 85 total tackles, 12 tackles for loss, which is really good, 3 sacks and 1 interception, okay. So let's get into the breakdown and let's take a look at some of the things that gave me red flags with a little bit of the good mixed in, which is mostly the athleticism. Okay, let's get into it. So we get into the film, and I immediately see something that I'm saying to myself, be patient. This is 2018. This player can get better. But something that I immediately didn't like about Patrick Queen, we'll see here in this particular play. I want to see my linebacker come downhill with pop, ready to deliver violence with just horrible intentions. Okay, now let's take a look at this play. It's going to be a quarterback keep. We see what Queen is doing here. He's reading this exchange, trying to find where to go with the ball. Let's take a quick look at what he does though. See, he's reading. I said this is happening too much on film with Patrick Queen and we'll get into it more, where what we have is a guy we'll slow the play down to see it a little bit better. I don't feel like Patrick comes downhill with any pop, anything behind his pads. His feet are not square. He never seems to be trying to deliver a blow to the ball carrier. It's always this extremely low angle, kind of always trying to tackle the shoelace of the defender. It just allows him to miss way too many tackles. I didn't like it. And here's another thing that we're going to see in the very next play. Watch this. Now I still have it on a slower speed. This touchdown is Patrick McQueen's fault, and I'm going to show you why it is. Okay. Let's go a little bit further back to the handoff. Okay. Watch Patrick right here. I still have this a little bit slowed down. A lot of times that's how I like to watch it. Let's watch him. Okay. He reads the pulling guards, okay? He's right there. He's there. I mean, he's right where he needs to be to make this play. He's right there, okay? You're going to have the tight end aligned pretty much as an up back, full back, whatever they may decide to call him in this formation, okay? If I'm not mistaken, you're going to have this guard pull, okay? It's going to actually create a lane for Patrick Queen to come straight down this gap. I mean, when you look at the running back in general at this particular time, his eyes is on the edge, expecting this tight end to pick up this outside guy so he can get out there. What Patrick Queen does, and I'm not sure why this is what he does, but if we really get this thing slowed down, let's take a look at the decision that he decides to make. He kind of just pats his feet. Again, whenever he seems to want to go for the ball, he's going for the ball carrier. He tends to want to go for the shoelaces. And I mean, that was his play to make. I need my linebacker. Okay? I need my linebacker to read the play, which he does. I mean, he's looking at the exchange. He just got caught by the quarterback the last play, but is not looking at the quarterback, as you can see. And I see this a lot in his film, is he wants to engage blockers sometimes that aren't even trying to engage him. And that's one of the things that I just don't like. It's like he wants to strike this blocker instead of just trusting his eyes and going to make that tackle. And even when he does call himself trying to stop this player, it's just a dive at the shoelaces. That's something that worried me as soon as I cut on the film and I'm trying to look at this player. But again, it's 2018, so I always want to keep my mind open and say it could get better. But what we're going to do is we're going to stop it there, and we're going to jump over to 2019. So I'm not here to just talk about the bad with Patrick Queen, okay? I'm looking for the good. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I want to like every player that I'm looking at, right? I just saw some things that were alarming, but that started in 2018. So of course, what am I looking for when I turn on something that's 2019? I'm looking for improvement. So the first thing I always want to do, I kind of want to find that best team, that the team that the player played, right? I want to look at all the best teams, and I just kind of start as high as I can, and I look at Oklahoma, okay? So we're looking at the Peach Bowl, number 1 versus number 4. Now, I know Oklahoma isn't the most physical team in the world, but that's a big thing that I'm looking for out of Patrick Queen as far as improvement. Is this guy starting to come downhill with reckless abandon? And the way that this game starts off, you can kind of see what NFL teams see and what they like. Right here in this first play, we're going to have him in coverage. And, I mean, you can see the athleticism. You see the 4.5 speed. We don't see where that play goes, but it looks like he's in good coverage. We see him coming downhill, tackling high, not kind of going at those shoelaces as I was kind of lamenting. We have another play here. He's just reading, and he goes and he pops. And that's what I want to see, okay? Again, we see a guy that's just kind of getting through the mess, running a guy out of bounds, though he didn't make contact, just kind of being where he needs to be. I like his drop. I think that he gets deep really quickly, really easily. The athlete that he is, you can see the effortlessness in what he does. We see the explosion whenever he blitz. He does a great job of getting his body small to get his way through the hole. So it's not as if this guy doesn't do a lot of things right, but here we go again. This is another one of those things that I want to point out. I just don't love. I've never liked it, okay? I do not like it when my linebacker seems to want to make contact with players that he doesn't have to make contact with. I understand. I get it when these guys are kind of swimming, making their way through the line. But I think a lot of times Patrick Queen's instinct is to make contact with guys that he doesn't have to. In that case, is number 73. Now that's just me. But again, I feel like in this game, I got to see some of that athleticism that we hear about, but I also saw more of what I don't like, and we'll talk about that. So in this very play, what we're going to get is an example of one of those things that I do not love about Patrick Queen. Like I said, this game includes a lot of good Patrick Queen, okay? But with that being said, what I see here is a little bit of bad Patrick Queen, despite this being mostly good tape for him. When I think of middle linebacker, you got to understand I am a Ray Lewis guy, okay? Baltimore Raven kind of guy. So at the end of the day, what you want a middle linebacker to be is like a person that you would take with you in a dark alley fight. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and question Patrick Queen's heart or his balls or anything of that nature. I'm not even going to go there, right? But as an analogy, your middle linebacker is the friend you call when it's like, hey, I got a problem, and he's supposed to come with reckless abandon, ready to tear some shit up. You know what I mean? When you make that phone call, you don't call the guy who's like, huh? Where you at? What was you doing? Why was you doing that? Why was you even messing with them? Why didn't you just stay in? That's not what you want out of your linebacker. And sometimes Patrick Queen arrives on the scene with that energy. Like, what was you doing here in the first place? Kind of energy. You know what I mean? He's not that friend. You know what I mean? As an analogy for a linebacker, and this is one of those plays. Now we're going to slow this down a little bit just so that we can break it down and take a look at it, right? Let's do 0.5, okay? Take a look. What you like about Patrick Queen? It's a couple steps. He's reading the line. He sees exactly where this running back wants to go. Hit him. Pat, I mean, what you doing? Hit him. I mean, you're there. And honestly, you're the only member of your team that's there. What are we doing here, Pat? What are we doing here? Even in that situation, I'll at least take your shoestring tackle. But it's kind of like I just don't feel like Patrick Queen arrives at the scene ready to create a crime. He's there to ask you what you was doing there in the first place. And honestly, that's not what I want in my middle linebacker. For a guy that I'm seeing mocked to my Baltimore Ravens, I don't think this is what I want. Okay. But we'll see. Okay. I've been wrong before. I may be wrong this time. But let's keep going. Let's keep breaking this thing down some more. So when we get into Patrick Queen, the game that really just made me shake my head the most was Florida. I saw a lot of what I don't like about Patrick Queen. And, again, I don't want to be overly negative. I just want to be real with you guys about what I feel like are red flags in this game and in his game and in this game. They're just full of them. So let's just go ahead and take a look at some of the plays from this Florida game that make me say I'm not looking at a first-round linebacker. All right, so here we go. We have the red arrow showing us exactly where Patrick Queen is. And what we're going to get here is a run play that Patrick is going to pretty much sniff out pretty well. Again, I think that this guy's instincts in the run game around the line of scrimmage are an A, B+ at the worst, but finishing is his problem. Watch as he goes for the shoelace. Watch as he once again is asking, what are you doing at in this place instead of what was you doing in the bar? What you say to that guy instead of just being a dude that just starts stealing off on people. Watch. Here we go again. Now let's watch the play in normal speed. Matter of fact, which it already is in, okay? And then let's break it down a little bit more. Okay, we see what is that? What is that? What it is a much longer gain than what it should be, and it doesn't make sense when we're talking about a guy that is being looked at as a mid to late first rounder. I don't get it. Okay. Sometimes, this confuses me really that this is on tape and this guy's being discussed this way. It's one of the reasons why I've always raised my eyebrow at the Ty McShays of the world. So let's take a look at this here in half speed. We have Queen coming down here. Like I said, his instinct, he finds a hole, he will hit it. But the thing that he just doesn't do is come ready to deliver the pop on the back to make a ball carrier think twice about ever trying to face him in a gap again. What is this? We're going at the shoestrings once again. I went back a little bit too far, but once again, we have this guy. He's going to come straight down into the hole. He knows exactly where to be, but the pop is not there. I want to try to get you by your shoelace. The guy gets out of it. It's very similar to what we were looking at in 2018 versus Central Florida. If it isn't for number 3 or one of the other just complete gazelles that play for LSU that would have probably tracked this guy down, that is a touchdown, and it is on Patrick Queen. I tell you what, if that's the way Patrick Queen wants to come down into the hole in college, there is no way that this guy's ready to face Derrick Henry in a phone booth. Okay, so what was the other thing I said? Just this guy being exactly where you need to be, but not making the play. Let's take a look at it in normal speed first, right? We see Queen is reading the quarterback. Okay, he's in the middle zone. He sees his eyes. He knows the ball is coming out, and who ends up with the ball? Exactly, the guy that he needs to stop. And This is the problem that I kind of just have a problem with this. Okay, we're gonna break it down. Half speed. We're gonna see Queen here in the zone. Okay, pretty basic cover 2 shell. Okay, he has the middle of the field. He feels it, and he just doesn't go to make that play. I don't know what's going on here. I mean, some people may feel that wasn't his responsibility. It's on number 6. I don't disagree, but a playmaker makes a play. I mean, look, Pat, you're staring the quarterback down. You have a feel for where this ball going. Whatever you might have saw on tape that week is about to take place. If these guys aren't deciding to make the play, that's on them. Your back is to them. You can't see them anyway. The quarterback is staring this guy down. Just go make the play. Just go make the play. I mean, I don't know. Let's keep it going. All right, so look, here we go. Okay, it's 4th and goal. Okay, second quarter. We're trying to keep this from being a tie game. Have 3 good goal line stands. Okay, we need to stop here. All right, what does Florida do? Okay, they want to go ahead, get a fast quarterback on the outside, give him 2 routes to go to. What happens? The play is made. Now, this is the thing, again, that I've been saying about Patrick Queen. This is the thing I've been saying about Patrick Queen over and over and over again, right? Is that I see a guy whose instincts are decent. In the run game, they're really good. In the passing game, they're at least decent. He seems to have a feel for where the ball is. He reads the quarterback's eyes. It typically doesn't get him in trouble. Gets great drops, quick, easy hips. The tools are there. So for people who are wondering, why is this guy, I'm showing so many bad stuff, and I'm even saying it myself, why is this guy being called a first-round linebacker? It's because of the tools. If this guy loves football, if he loves football and he has a determination and desire to get better, he'll be a good NFL player. The athleticism is there. The instincts are good enough, okay? But the playmaking, I feel like that is what a first-round player is a playmaker. This is a impact player. That's what I need to see. What I see, Patrick Queen, okay, number 3 isn't really doing what he's supposed to do, so now this guy has 2 routes. The ball is floated up. It's a bad throw. Make that play. I want you to make that play, okay? You can say anything that you want to say about the probability of making that play, and I'm going to tell you that for the level of player I'm being told Patrick Queen is, I want this play to be made, period. Number 3, not where he's supposed to be. Lets the guy go, says, you know what, I have a better shot at the quarterback. Patrick Queen pretty much defends 2 guys and does it well because they both run into the same exact space of the end zone. Where 2 should probably cut this a little bit more towards the goal line, he doesn't. But who wins at the end of the day is still number 2, and it is not Patrick Queen, and that is just something that I see too much on the film. So what have I said to this point when it comes to this player? Obviously, this video will be extremely long if I continue to break into all of this. I'm making this video because I want to say red alert. I don't think that this guy is a first-round player. Second round, third round. I've seen some skeptics of him saying 4th or 5th. I don't know about that. You simply don't let guys with his athletic ability and some of the instincts that he has slip that far. A coach is going to believe I can take a linebacker that can run a 4.5 40 with fluid hips and a decent feel for the game. I can turn that into a Pro Bowler. I can turn that into my middle linebacker, my starting middle linebacker. And NFL coaches are going to believe they can do that. So this guy's not going to go in the 4th or 5th round. It's just not going to happen. Second round, though, I think is a better place. The second round pretty much is your athletes who aren't great football players. If you really look at it historically, if you really look at what the second round represents when you see these players come into the league, why so many of them fail, these are your guys who have elite athletic ability, but something is missing. And that's what I think Patrick Queen is. I think he is a second round player simply because I know what he can do with his body physically. I just have to see if I can coach him to be better. So that's what it's really going to be about. That's the question that I cannot answer, okay? I'm not a true scout, okay? I don't have connections at LSU to learn about how well is this guy trained, how much is he in his playbook. The things that I saw in the 2018 film that I didn't like, I saw again in 2019, which I think is the problem. None of that, though, seems to be, to me, a guy who looks like he doesn't study the game. I think that he's always kind of going in the right direction in the flow of the play, but he's not often the guy who is making the play. When he's meeting ball carriers, he seems to want to go for the shoelaces. He seems to avoid that contact. He seems to often make contact with blockers that he could completely ignore, to be honest. I mean, he makes contact with guys who don't have a real shot at blocking him if he uses his athleticism to just continue in the course that he's going. So that is my question about Patrick Queen as a player. How much does he love football? Because when you see a guy who kind of shies away from the violence of the game, it makes you say to yourself, he may love what the game does for him more than the game. It's really, again, I don't want to get out of bounds with the things that I question because I don't know this guy. That's what interviews are for. That's what getting information from teams are for. That's stuff that I can't do. So if this guy's successful, it'll be truly about how much he loves the game, so how much he tries to get out of his own ability. A big part of it will be where he's drafted, so that he's given that opportunity to continue to grow and not just kind of buried if he doesn't immediately show potential. Where he's drafted will be a big thing, because if he's drafted in the first, the expectation will be that he is something that he may not be, right? So again, not saying that this is a lost cause player, just saying that I don't see a first round player because of certain issues with playmaking in general. Okay, so look, that's my breakdown of Patrick Queen. I don't even know if this was a full breakdown, as much as it was just me saying, hey, red alert, I have questions about this player that I'm seeing being called a really high round draft pick. So with that being said, I'll continue to do videos like this. I love to do breakdowns on my own. And now it's about time to kind of just get into them for other people to view and just see, do you think the same thing that I do? If you don't, you don't. If you people who like this, if you have a player that you want me to kind of look at, break down, I'll do that. So going forward, just take a look, check out for it. Again, this is Kev, Win Column. We out.